Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate the support, and yeah, thank you very much. I'm forever grateful. Obviously, you guys are what make the channel, what make the shop, what make the Aquarium Project. So, just wanted to take a second to say thank you to you all. So yeah, thank you. Basically, today is the same as usual. I'm gonna walk around and show you the fish while I talk. But what I was wanting to talk about today is a topic that actually came up briefly when we were doing the podcast, recording the podcast the other day on an episode that's going to come out not tomorrow but next week. So if you're watching this, you might get a little sneak peek. But basically, what I was wanting to talk about is the importance, in my opinion, the importance of variety when it comes to feeding your fish. So, I mean, it applies to any fish. It doesn't matter if you're feeding like a green severum here, or if you're feeding like a little bunch of little community type fish like tetras and stuff. I think variety is important for all of them. This obviously comes with the caveat that what you're feeding has to be good quality. Like, you can feed all the variety in the world, but if it's all junk, then the fish aren't going to benefit from it. But what I recommend and what I think is makes a really big difference in the fish's overall health and happiness is variety of good quality foods. Because so the reason for this is I think it's really important because every fish, no matter what fish we're talking about, there is no perfect food for them. At least insofar as the aquarium environment goes. No perfect food exists. There's no such thing as a perfect food. So you can't always hit everything that the fish needs nutritionally. So basically what that means is every different food that you offer, assuming again with the caveat that it's good quality, is going to offer something different to the fish that's going to have different benefits in terms of vitamins and minerals and all this type of thing. So, for example, if we take, I don't know, something so what we'll do is I'll mention about what I would recommend in a general community type aquarium, what might be good things to kind of rotate through, very basically. So, what I'd recommend is, I think the Repashy brand in general is really good. It doesn't matter what your specific mix is that you use will depend on what fish you have. But if you use, say, some form of Repashy, some form of live food, be it baby brine shrimp, be it white worms, be it Daphne or whatever, some sort of live food mixed in, and then as well mixing in some sort of or a couple different types of flake or pellet or something. So you want to make sure it's good quality, but stuff like Omega-1, Northfin, New Life Spectrum, those sorts of things all are really good examples of good quality foods. And they'll all have different, so they all have for example, different cooking methods. They all have different ingredients. Some might have a little bit more calcium in it, whereas some of them might have more potassium or whatever. I'm not going to go into the specifics because we'll be here all day with examples, but that's the kind of idea, is that it doesn't matter what food you're feeding, they're all going to have different benefits. And of course that also goes the other way, and some will have different negatives. Some foods will be missing X thing that is really important to the fish, and if you just feed them that one thing every day for their entire life, they're not going to get the benefits of that particular good thing. So yeah, I think that's really important point. The only thing I'd say is a lot of times people sort of worry about their enrichment in that sense, which I wouldn't worry about. That wouldn't be a factor in my decision to feed a variety. I don't think it's as important, and it's less important than the nutritional value of the varieties that you feed. So something like, say, so what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so something like a frozen food, like frozen bloodworms, for example, is quite a popular option in that space. We'll give it to them, say once a week. We'll chuck a bunch of frozen bloodworms in our aquarium, and that'll be the variety of the food. And then every other day, like say 6 other days a week, we'll just do the, I don't know, Tetra color flakes or whatever. Now that's fine, obvious thing. I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing, but so there's kind of 2 points about it. So number one, frozen bloodworms is not a good food in general, nutritional wise, and they're not very good. There's not a lot of sort of them, and also they have bloodworms is very hard for the fish to digest because it's got this little like, almost think of it like an exoskeleton, like a little skin that is really hard for the fish to digest. So I think it leads to more problems than it's worth, and especially nowadays, there's much better options like frozen brine shrimp, frozen daphnia, frozen mysis, frozen cyclops. Like if you're wanting to do frozen food, you definitely can, but I think bloodworms is not probably the world's best answer in this space, shall we say. So yeah, I think if you do want to as well, the other point is it's not like we'll just feed everything normal, once a day, and then every now and then we'll chuck some. Look at this Kidango with sandal dropped on his bloomin' head. What a stupid fish. But yeah, that's oh god, now I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, but like just a once a week thing is not exactly what we are talking about here. It's like a more sort of well-rounded variety and a more general type of variety where it applies to more than just a one-off or like a once a week thing. It's like you might have 5 things in your rotation that you're feeding out, and then that's good because it all gives different parts. And I know what a lot of people will be thinking, that it sounds like I'm trying to sell you stuff, but like it could be 5 things that you make yourself that aren't gonna, I'm not saying you have to buy 5 different foods. I'm saying 5 different things. It might be you might have a Daphnia culture going at home. You might make your own frozen food. You might feed them some fresh vegetables, that kind of thing. Like, don't think I'm just saying this to try to sell you stuff. It's more in terms of the benefits to the actual fish, where it's the same idea as humans. Like you eat the same food every day, you're not going to be as healthy as like a well-rounded diet. Like you eat your fruits and your vegetables and your meat and your carbs and like all this other stuff. So it's like the same idea applies to fish, but we don't really think about it. Like a lot of the time it's just like pick one good food, feed that every day, and it'll be fine. And I mean, it will be fine. Like the fish aren't going to die, but if we're trying to do our very best and trying to make it as good as possible, that's when something like some variety might be something about and add into what we're doing, on top of maintaining good water conditions and on top of having good compatibility and like a good sized tank and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of what I was wanting to jump on to talk to you guys about, and I think it's something to think about, even if you don't necessarily have to do it, but it's something that you might want to think about adding into your regime of general care for your fish. So yeah, that's kind of all I had to say, so thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment down below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear what sort of things you guys feed. If you have a variety, if you stick with maybe one food and that's it, please let me know either way. I'd love to talk to you about it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.